Today is our second season of Juneteenth, where it all began. We're going to talk today to Mrs. Sue Johnson, who is the founder and executive director of the Nia Cultural Center. One of the things I want you to know about her first is that she's retired right now, but she was the assistant director for respiratory care at the University of Texas Medical Branch. But Sue, what we're here today to talk about your interests that you have in the city of Galveston for the children and for the historic preservations of Galveston itself. One of the activities that you're doing this year, I want you to talk about it, and it's the gospel program for Juneteenth.
Oh, happily, I'll talk about it. It's actually our third year of presenting the Emancipation Gospel Celebration on the island. We've always done it at the Grand Opera House, and we will again this year. But what's really cool about this year is not only will we have Galveston greats, the Stinson family, but it will be the key entertainment is Fred Hammond.
Wow.
So everybody's all excited about Fred Hammond, and Galvestonians are going to be very proud to see the Stinson family on stage at the Opera House.
Right. Who were the other persons that were there for the first 2 years?
Previously, we had Smokey Norfolk, the Cardi Cortez, Amber Bullock, and Smokey Cortez. Oh, those are the ones I remember right off the bat. Oh, Bishop.
But it seems that we have first-class entertainment.
Always first-class entertainment.
And that I know that the reviews that I've heard is that the tickets are going very well.
Yes. This year, our concert's going to be, first of all, June 8th at the Opera House at 7 p.m. And besides the wonderful entertainment, we're also commemorating, as always, the champions of freedom. We give this award to individuals who have either fought for Juneteenth to be a national holiday, or they've worked in the area of civil rights and human rights. And this year, those awards will go posthumously, unfortunately, to two individuals, Reverend Dean Benford, who just passed, and he had his going away celebration last week, and to Leon Phillips, an activist from Galveston, who passed a couple of months ago, I believe. When we decided on both these individuals, we did not expect them to be gone at the time that we gave the award, but it's very important that we do commemorate them even though they've left us, physically they've left us, but we want to make sure they never leave us spiritually. So those two are getting an award, along with we're giving awards to a commemoration to 4 churches. And the significance of this is that these churches are the first of their denomination whose roots started in Galveston, Texas. So that would be the AME Church, the Catholic Church, the Episcopal Church, and the Baptist Church. So we will have members and the congregations of Avenue L Baptist Church, San Augustine Episcopal Church, Holy Rosary Catholic Church, and Avenue L Baptist.
Reedy Chapel.
Reedy Chapel, I'm sorry. I think I said Avenue L twice.
That's okay.
But yeah, Reedy Chapel, AME. Got to make sure that we mention all of them, actually.
Yeah.
Because I think this is one of the reasons why we are hoping to eventually have a new museum that chronicles the history of Galveston, the African American community of Galveston. It's vast and it's a glorious history in so many regards. Healthcare, labor, education especially. So we have a lot to commemorate and appreciate about the African American community that's built up the fabric of Galveston, Texas.
Now, back to our gospel program. I know that previously you've had someone come in and speak about the history of gospel.
The history of gospel?
Yes.
Oh, yes. We had a music symposium last year, and at that symposium, we actually looked at all genres of music and their relation to Galveston. So there was, of course, we commemorated people like Miss Isola Collins, who herself was a composer and music teacher, and Mrs. Jackson, whose husband was Pastor W.W. Jackson, and she was musical, not only a historian, but a performer of music, and many others, So the history of gospel music runs deep in Galveston, Texas.
That's true. I like the idea that with the gospel music, a lot of folk don't realize that we do understand that people love gospel music. But we also know during slavery, gospel music was used so that the slaves could move back and forth, like going north in the Underground Railroad, like going from North or to Canada. And just recently I found out that Galveston or the South had Underground South, and some of the music was used on the boats where people were singing and letting people know that the boats were around and that they could get on these boats, and nobody would tell that they were there, and they would go to Mexico.
Yes.
Or follow the Gulf.
Yes, many people. I just recently learned, since Juneteenth's become a national holiday, the study of what's happened not only around the country but particularly in Galveston has become. There's so much new information.
Yeah,
it's old information, but it's new to us because we just started delving deeply into it. Many people went south. They went to Mexico to freedom. In Mexico, even before the General Order Number 3 was read in Texas, if enslaved people were able to escape, they went to Mexico because they would not be returned if they, were found to be there. Mexico would not return enslaved people back into slavery. So that was the path before and after General Order Number 3 was read in Galveston.
Right. You are very right. We are learning so much. I just read that last book by the African American Committee of the Historical Society in Galveston, and that's where I read about the Underground South information.
And did you know that the Union soldiers that came into Galveston to ensure that the enslaved people were maintained their freedom, it was the U.S. colored troops. So with Gordon Granger came thousands of U.S. colored troops. I always envisioned when they said Union soldiers that they'd be talking about white men with guns. But they're actually black. 75% of them were black men with guns. So that's really a revelation to me.
You know, I'm so excited to talk to everyone that I've been speaking with because we've learned a little bit of everything. And I'm so excited that folk who are being able to look at the podcast can get the history so that they can come down to Galveston. Well, we want them to come down to Galveston, to the island, and see what it's all about.
And I want you to know they're coming. Every day I'm fielding 2 to 3 calls of either a family reunion or a girls' trip or a corporation who's coming to our gallery, our Juneteenth Legacy headquarters. In fact, on the day of Juneteenth, the Caterpillar Company, an international company, will be broadcasting about Juneteenth from our facility.
Very good. Yeah. Now, tell me a little bit about the Nia Cultural Center as well. Because
the Nia Cultural Center has been around a long time. We've been around for about 32 years, almost 32 years. And we started out addressing the issue of youth violence. It was an epidemic at that time in the early 90s. And we found that the majority of the press was covering these young people who were making bad decisions and essentially killing each other. And they were drowning out the bright, shining examples of young people who were doing positive, productive things in the community, in their schools, in their churches, and in their families. So we started a program called the Youth of Nia Award to recognize those youth who were positive youth role models. And it went we expanded to include ongoing programming, first of all, the Girls' Rites of Passage program for young girls that we taught them what it took to become a woman in the African tradition, that a child does not become a woman because they make 18 years old, but they were taught, mentored by other women in the community, in aunts, uncles. What it means to be a woman means that eventually you're probably already a sister, you're a daughter, you're going to be an aunt, a grandmother, a mother, and all of those roles require understanding of their responsibility in those roles. So that was the basis of the Girls' Rites of Passage. We've expanded to families, including Family Strengthening and Empowerment Program. And then 18 years ago, our premier program, our longest running program, has been the Children's Defense Fund Freedom School, which I'm very proud of, because what we are able to do in the summer months for 6 weeks, we take in at least 100 kids from kindergarten through 12th grade, and it exposed them to literature that they've never, seen before, that depicts who they are in their life circumstances and stories. And what we're able to do with that program is reduce summer learning loss. We found over the years that kids are, not only do they not lose their reading skills over the summer, which in most cases kids lose up to 5 months of reading skill over the summer, but they gain 8 to 10 months of reading skill over the 6 weeks. We combine that and make it really fun, create a climate that's welcoming to parents, but the program focuses on not only reading, but advocacy, social action, conflict resolution, which is really important these days, parent engagement, health, and mental health.
Miss Sue, that's what the kids call you, Miss Sue.
Yes, ma'am.
You have done quite a bit for the community of Galveston in relationship to our children and the community itself. That's why I noticed that, and now that you're dealing with the community, as far as we all are getting involved in what we love about Galveston and the fact that it all began in Galveston, we really want folk to know. I do know that you are also dealing with some arts that you haven't mentioned, where you brought some activity to Galveston.
Yeah, we were fortunate almost 3 years ago to get involved in art. That was not one of our major areas, but it's art and history. That is one of our areas. But we were asked to be fiscal sponsor for a project which is really prominent in Galveston now, which is the Absolute Equality Mural that's located on the corner of 22nd and Strand. And it's said that it is the place that General Order Number 3 was actually read at the Osterman building there. And Reginald Adams, a muralist, and his creatives, 7 other artists who helped him to install the mural, created this beautiful mural that has the chronology of our presence in America from the beginning to Miss Opal Lee marching all over Texas to try to make Juneteenth a national holiday. It tells the story of Juneteenth, the national story, as well as the local story. And what we did when the mural was successfully constructed and dedicated, we realized that there was space inside the building that the mural sits on that the creatives used to, prep the mural. And it was open space. And my partner, Sam Collins, said, well, why don't we make this a gallery? And with that, his friend, and now my good friend, Ted Ellis, just filled the space with art by Ted Ellis that not only was beautiful art, but it was also wonderful history.
And about Lisa Kane as well.
Currently,
yeah.
Well, since then, that was our first exhibit with Ted Ellis that was there for a year. After that, we started switching out exhibits every 6 months and included local and regional artists. And our latest exhibit features the wonderful art of Dr. Lisa Kane. Lisa Kane's a microbiologist and also an administrator at the University of Texas. But she's does wonderful, wonderful art. And her art was featured in the home tour of the actress Viola Davis. As Viola was walking around touring her house, she stops at this one painting and points it out as her favorite, and it's Dr. Lisa Kane's art. And it's currently at the gallery right now.
Sue, tell me about the other events that are going on during Juneteenth.
Okay, I can tell you more about the things that Nia Cultural Center is involved with. And the first one is going to be June 1st. We'll have what we call a brown bag lecture series. And it will be called Maud Cuney Hare, Daughter of Galveston, Citizen of the World.
Wow.
Maud Cuney Hare, this presentation will be by Galveston native Janae Watson. She's now an author and librarian and historian who lives in Atlanta, Georgia. She'll be here June 1st at noon at the Juneteenth Legacy Headquarters, 2217 The Strand, at noon. Our next event will be, of course, the major event, the Emancipation Concert with Fred Hammond and the Stinsons starting at 6. Then on the...
Do you have the address of the grant?
No, ma'am. It's at the 1894 Grand Opera House, and I think it's 2202 Strand. Post Office Street.
Post Office.
Post Office Street in Galveston. Then on the the 17th, we have a Juneteenth lecture by Anthony Brogdon, a native of Detroit, Michigan, whose focus is on he's doing his lecture on good Black history, Black business owners of the 1800s. He's got even stories of enslaved people who had businesses during their enslavement. We on the 21st is really special because we have the Kinsey family at the Rosenberg Library beginning at 6 p.m. here in Galveston. The Rosenberg Library is partnering with us to bring the Kinseys, and we are very, very fortunate to have them. Their work is currently at the Holocaust Museum in Houston, but they take this exhibition of African American history all over the world. Just came back from Tokyo, Japan, and came to the Holocaust Museum. And they're not going to have artifacts, but they will have slides and stories of the artifacts while they're there. On the 22nd, I'm really excited to have a new Galvestonian and businesswoman, Dr. Araminta Sorrell, who will have do a lecture on the 1900 storm, the Great Storm of 1900, and the impact on Black citizens. So that's exciting as well. So I'm very happy to have all of this variety of topics, and a lot of it is upbeat, not just about the sufferings of slavery, but the resilience, the perseverance, and the achievements despite Jim Crow, slavery itself. We still made it happen.
Great. Those are some wonderful activities. Tell me, how was your organization able to make all of this happen?
Well, first of all, it's inspiration from friends and activists like Sam Collins, and also we got funding from, local funding from the City of Galveston's Arts and Historic Preservation, from the Park Board, Galveston Park Board, and always getting really wonderful support from the Cynthia and George Mitchell family.
What about, isn't another city grant, Arts and Historic?
The Arts and Historic Preservation grant is from the City of Galveston, yes.
Yes.
And we also were fortunate enough to be funded by the Black Arts Network Fund, the BAPOC grant, and that has helped us to be able to provide a variety of offerings for Juneteenth and to make it a wonderful celebration. In lieu of, we wanted that National Juneteenth Museum to be in Galveston. We wanted to be the first, but we weren't. But we're doing everything we can in every way that we can to preserve our history. And the funding and the celebration of Juneteenth itself gives us an opportunity to do just that: celebrate, commemorate, and recognize.
Right. I am so happy that we are very fortunate to have citizens of Galveston who are on these committees. The Arts and Historic are made up of citizens as well as the Park Board.
Yes.
It says that everyone is interested in making sure that Juneteenth is exciting, that we have wonderful activities, and it's where it all began. And that's what we're so very proud to know, that this is where it all began.
Want everybody to know that.
Yeah, so thank you, Sue.
Thank you. Thank you for
being a part of this. Yes. So I want everybody to understand we got it going on in Galveston.
Very much so.
We want you to come and see what we have. We are excited. We just want everybody to see that this island of Galveston, Texas, is where it all began. Thank you, Sue.
You're welcome. Thank you.